Merry meet, it is Niina. You're watching Fairy Chamber channel. Feeling very festive today. So, continuing my series on the Finnish pagan holidays, and today I'm going to talk to you about talvipäivä and talvipäivän tasaus, which means the winter solstice. And approaching very fast because today that I'm filming it is 19th of December. And winter solstice, it usually takes place between 20th to 22nd of December, and this year in Finnish time the winter solstice takes place in 21st of December, in Wednesday at 12:44. And here where I am there is daylight for 3 hours and 34 minutes. Yay! So, in Finnish we have many different names for winter solstice. We have talvipäivä, the winter day, talvipäivän tasaus, winter solstice, talvipäivän seisaus, I think that also means winter solstice, keskitalven juhla, midwinter celebration, I like that one. So, this is a festival that was celebrated in Finland in the pagan times. Not really that much because most people celebrate joulu and most pagans celebrate Yule, which basically is winter solstice, but it can have like different meanings for Finnish pagans because there's so many pagan traditions about winter solstice and not that many know about the traditional Finnish tradition, which I'm going to talk to you about. But even that has like associations to different pagan traditions because pagan traditions and Christian traditions and all traditions, they tend to overlap together with each others. So if we stick in Europe and think about different winter solstice stuff around here, first there is Yule among Germanic paganism and in mythology. Yule is about Holy King and the Oak King. Holy King is Orjanlageri kuningas in Finnish, that's a long word, and Oak King is Tammikuningas in Finnish. So Holy King and the Oak King, they are brothers who in mythology represent the two aspects of nature. Holy King is the winter and the Oak King is the summer. And they fight together twice in a year, once in Litha, the midsummer solstice, and then in Yule, the winter solstice. And in Litha, the Holy King wins his brother because that's when the days become more darker and darkness wins. And then in Yule, Oak King is the winner because the light comes back and summer approaches after a while. So the symbolism where there is light against darkness, that is something that we can relate to Finnish talvipäivän tasaus as well. And also later on the Christians, they took this whole idea of light versus dark to Christianity with good versus evil, God versus Satan, and so on. And also in Wiccan mythology, which is more newer because Wicca is very new religion, there is the horned god, and well, the goddess gives birth to God again, this word, so there is the rebirth aspect in Wiccan mythology that I quite like. And but it's based on very old tradition, also the Wiccan mythology, because around the world you can find these images of horned gods. And also from Finland you can find images of horned god from cave paintings. There are these gods with two legs and antlers, so they are like animal-human hybrids. We don't know their names. I think there might be representations of Kekri, which is one of the Finnish fertility gods, according to some sources, that gave name to the Kekri celebration. And Kekri, it takes place in 31st of October and first week of November. The date of Kekri, it varies in Finnish paganism. I have a video about it if you want to see it, if you haven't seen it yet. Anyway, the whole idea of Kekri, it's very connected to Finnish winter solstice, because they are pretty much one and the same party in many ways, because Kekri was time when this whole period of darkness started. Kekri and overall winter solstice is connected to darkness, and it's the time of the dark spirits coming to the earth, both evil and the good ones, and honoring the dead people. And I think in Finnish pagan and like non-pagan holidays that are around this time of the year, they are all like, their whole essence is based on this idea of honoring the passed away relatives. I think there's many different celebrations and habits that really come from this ancient worship of ancestors. Kekri as a holiday, it started this time period that was called jakoaika, which means like a turning point time. So this time period from the end of October all the way to January, it was time for the spirits being in the earth wandering, and this made people, of course, very scared to go outside, especially around the winter solstice, between this time period of 20th of December to 22nd of December, because that was the time period when the sun was most far away from the earth. And if you go, like I'm here in the middle north of Finland at the moment, so we get like 3 hours of sunlight at this time, or 3 or 4 hours. And if you go more north, there isn't any sunlight there, so it kind of makes sense that people in the past were really scared of this time. And if you think about before the time of electricity and the lights, when it was quite hard to make fire at sometimes, or you had to go to the woods to get firewood, or the forest, and you didn't see anything, and if there wasn't moon in the sky, you literally didn't see anything. So people were quite scared at times. I can understand that. And this time period, the winter solstice, these 3 days, they were like the highest point of this jakoaika, this turning time, when there were evil spirits outside and good spirits outside. And this was the time when the spirits were most vicious. So this caused that people didn't really go outside during this time. They stayed inside. And what it comes to the winter solstice in Finnish paganism, it is connected to earth. The element of the celebration is earth. It is also connected to the Finnish goddess Louhi. She's also known as Loviatar, Louhetar, and Lohiatar and Loviatar. She has many names. She is the goddess of witchcraft and goddess of magic, goddess of winter and nighttime. And when Christianity arrived, Louhi was demonized as like a northern evil witch, satanic witch specifically. And originally in her earliest form, she was one of the moon goddesses, and also one aspect of the Mother Earth. She is the crone aspect. So this is something really interesting in Finnish mythology, and something you can find in many other mythologies as well, that the Louhi, the goddess of the north, who is connected to winter, is the crone aspect. Makes sense, because winter is usually seen as the symbol of crone and vice versa. And she's also the goddess of magic, and not specifically evil magic or a good magic, because all magic is neutral, but overall magic of all magic, goddess of all magic. And so if you want to work with Louhi tomorrow is great time, and any day between 20th of December and 22nd of December. Great time to work with Louhi, and with overall, I think with all kinds of goddesses that are related to magic, I think that is a great time to work with them. The winter solstice, if you are into very powerful goddesses, she's really cool goddess, at least in my eyes. And winter solstice, it was also the one time in a year that Finns or ancient Finns sacrificed for wolves, because wolf unfortunately is quite demonized animal in Finnish folklore, especially when it comes to the time when people were like pagans and they were also Christians because church was so demanding. So during that time wolf became very demonized animal, and Finns during winter solstice people sacrificed pigs and lambs for wolves. So it was that kind of way for them to make sure that wolves would not take any animals during the later of the year. And I thought that was pretty cool. Maybe they did not hate wolves that much back in the days. Yes, definitely the Finnish wolf hate, it's more recent thing. It's really unfortunate. I don't really like that. And it has really like a Christian origins. Really dislike that as well. And anyway, that was one thing that people did. And also because there was so many evil spirits going around that time, people light up lots of torches and lots of fires outside. And this is something that Finnish people do still today around Christmas, but it doesn't really have that kind of meaning to get rid of the dark spirits. It's just because it's pretty and it's dark outside. But that's where it comes from originally. And during this day, no matter which day of these it was, people usually spent that day inside together with the family, and usually during talvipäivä, the winter solstice, people played games together, and usually the oldest people told stories about the spirits and elves and ghost stories and all that jazz, and they did lots of divinations and lots of magic and spells, especially spells for the future and spells for New Year and everything during winter solstice. And in the 16th century, the name of December was changed, because before that December in Finnish was talvikuu, the winter month, so it was changed to joulukuu, the Christmas month, and it's still today joulukuu. But this was done by the priest and the church because they did not want people to celebrate the pagan holiday Kekri, which was the Finnish Samain, and that took place in the October-November, and it lasted all the way to December-January. It is worship of ancestors, worship of these spirits, and being scared of the evil spirits and working with the good spirits. And the church fathers did not like that, so it started to be like very forbidden to celebrate Kekri or winter solstice. However, winter solstice in Finland, it hasn't never been that massive celebration as Kekri was. Kekri was like 100 times more bigger celebrations than winter solstice. So in a way that celebration slowly died. And then when with Christianity we got Yule from Sweden with more Christian elements, but then in Sweden in Yule it really has huge amount of pagan elements as well, because it comes from the Germanic Yule celebration more than the Christian celebration of Yule. So in a way we go back from paganism, we got some Christian elements, and then we go back to paganism. In Finnish winter solstice, from the pagan times, many of the traditions that were part of it, they were similar to the things that were part of Kekri celebration, because it was the last day of Kekri time. You could say that it was the last highlight of the Kekri, or that time period. So it was said that during the winter solstice you could eat food through all night, and people also left food for the elves and the spirits, and if they had a tree outside, the sacrificial tree that was honored for the gods and was the symbol of the world tree, people usually left food for that tree as well, or the, how do you say, to the bottom of that tree. Many of these traditions that were part of Talvipäivä, the winter solstice, they later on became part of Joulu celebration. Joulu is the Finnish word for Christmas, and a huge amount of things that were part of Kekri celebrations in the past, they've become a huge part of Finnish Christmas celebrations as well. And if you think about winter solstice point of view, it never really wasn't that massive celebration as Kekri was, but like it's like 2 or 3 days jump ahead, so I think it was a natural transform to that. Okay, this was the story of midwinter solstice. I hope you have very blessed Yule and midwinter solstice and very nice Joulu, whatever it is that you celebrate. Thank you for watching. I will see you on my next video. Bye!